What makes you like an anime character? Is it their looks, the way they act, their voice, or some other reason? Sometimes finding your favorite characters can be like putting together a formula or puzzle. They check off certain boxes or characteristics that you look for in characters that you like. If you look at your favorites, you can see general similarities between them. When a viewer meets a new character, they start off at some neutral point. As the anime progresses, that character has a chance to increase or decrease that position through things such as actions and dialogue, to name a few. I'm going to go over some reasons why you might like a character and provide some examples that fit those reasons, mainly focusing on characters I like. And we are going to start with the first reason why you like a character: relatability. You look for characters that are similar or have experienced similar things to you. I think it's fitting that I am wearing my RB Leipzig kit, since the inspiration for this video comes from Blue Lock, an anime about soccer, which recently finished airing season 1. This character within Blue Lock isn't even my favorite, but I can easily relate to him. The character I am talking about is Chigiri, the one with reddish pink hair. I was curious why he never wanted to show off his soccer weapon at the beginning. Eventually, you are told why he was hesitant. Chigiri tore his ACL, making him extremely cautious, worried that it might be his last time on the pitch. So what is so relatable about that? I, like Chigiri, suffered an ACL tear also in my right knee while I was playing high school basketball. I also suffered a torn meniscus, partially torn PCL, I bruised my bone, and had tons of fluid around my knee. But the purpose of this video isn't to have a dick showing contest showing just how injured I got. I can sympathize with Chigiri's actions since I was in a similar position to his. Now, am I the caliber of athlete that Chigiri is? Heck no. I'm not even close. At the time, I was only a freshman in high school, but I was the only freshman on the varsity basketball team. Granted, I did come off the bench. I was impactful in the time that I was given, so overall I'd say I was decent, but obviously nowhere near Chigiri's level. Being told I tore my ACL was devastating to me, obviously, just like it was for Chigiri. My mindset completely changed just like Chigiri's did. I started overthinking, what happens if I dive for a loose ball? Do I try to fall so as to not fall on my knee, potentially hurting it even more? I need to slow down the pace I play at, because one wrong move and I can be injured again, especially if I'm not too careful. Running at full speed could be a bad idea. All these things boiling down to one wrong move, I'm injured again. I have to deal with this injury yet again. So when you tear your ACL, you usually get surgery. When you've had this type of surgery, you can feel the difference in your body. The amount of work you have to put in just to get yourself back into shape is ridiculous. You have to take your leg, which looks small, weak, fragile, and build it back up. That is why an ACL injury usually takes 4 to 6 months of recovery time minimum. Now personally, I ended up completing ACL rehab just after a little bit over 4 months of hard work and taking the rehab completely seriously throughout. I definitely did not want a repeat of it happening again. Rehab isn't just hard physically, it's also mentally taxing. When I saw what my leg turned into, it left me in tears. The lack of muscles my leg had after surgery, not being able to fully bend my knee for a long time, and the giant scar it left were all pretty demoralizing. I don't think I've fully recovered from that serious injury, losing a step and having to change the way I play. I'd say it probably took me around 2 years to actually get over the mental obstacles and just go out and play. Now, less personal stories and back to the topic of the video. I like Chigiri from the get-go because I can sympathize with the relatability of his injury. I can relate to how he feels. I love how Blue Lock portrays Chigiri's knee injury. Mentally, an ACL tear is exactly like being chained to the ground by your knee, not being able to do anything. When he broke those chains, it was an extremely cool scene. Probably my favorite thus far, since it hits so close to home. I recently uploaded an anime review on Bocchi the Rock. Bocchi was a fantastic watch, and I highly recommend watching it if you haven't already. I think Bocchi the Rock does a great job of relatability, but in a different way than Blue Lock does. Bocchi's relatability comes specifically with the characters' personalities. Everybody who watches that show can connect to one of the 4 band members, each character representing some type of introversion or extroversion, as well as their extremes. Me being closest to Rio. I'm not going to explain that any further, just go watch that video if you're interested in a longer explanation, link in the description. Going along with the empathy or relatability route, you like a character more if the character has clear and specific wants. The story can then improve the standing of those characters if those wants are denied to them. Having these goals makes the character relatable and can make even anti-heroes or evil characters much more likable. Obviously, probably the prime example of this being Light Yagami from Death Note. Next thing up is the anime itself influences how much you like the character. Obviously, the better the anime, there's the possibility of you liking the characters more. I'm going to refer to this tier list in front of me specifically the characters that are from S tier of my favorite anime character tier list. I have a whole series dedicated to picking my favorite characters from every anime I've watched. If you're interested in that, link in the description as well. If you look at it, I have 11 different characters, and no, these are not my top 11 favorite characters of all time. They are characters that I love though. Of the 11 characters, 4 of them are from anime within my top 10. I've never really made a top 10 favorite anime characters list before. I guess I really should for content creation purposes. I do know my 2 favorite characters, but after that, the list is just a bunch of names without numbers. With that being said, Code Geass is my favorite anime and includes my favorite character, Lelouch. My second favorite anime, Steins Gate, includes my second favorite character, Okabe. Now back to the list, 9 of the characters are from anime that I would rate at least an 8 out of 10. The exceptions being Accelerator from the Tuaru series and Raphtalia from the Rising of the Shield Hero. But even within those 2 series, there's at least 1 season from them that I would rate at least an 8 out of 10 or higher. And obviously a score of 8 out of 10 or higher is very good. So a good anime includes good characters. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now it takes more than just being a character within the show. Sometimes there's a common thread you can follow. Continuing with this assortment of characters in front of me, let's look at it a bit deeper. Can you see any similarities? I'll give you a hint. Focus on the first 2 rows. Pause if you'd like to actually guess the answer, because the answer is that I like geniuses. 7 of these characters are ridiculously smart in their world. Characters like Lelouch, Okabe, Senku, etc. So thus far, there's relatability, being from a good anime. For me specifically, it's being smart. Another example could be the odd or crazy type of character. I think everybody has a soft spot for at least one character that's seen as weird, crazy, or kind of out of place. I think a good example of this is Rampo from Bungo Stray Dogs, who also fits into that genius mold for me. The dude does not care what you're thinking or what you are doing. He's crazy and extremely weird. He could be in the middle of a crime investigation scene, trying to figure out who did it, and it looks like he is not taking the job seriously. He puts on a theatrical show to show off his findings, cracks some jokes, or puts his hands all over the evidence that will be sent for fingerprint scans, all while figuring out who the culprit was basically immediately. Rampo isn't the main character of Bungo Stray Dogs, but he is the main character of the story in his own mind. Every time he talks, you need to listen to him. He does not care what you are doing or what you think. He will make sure you are standing there and listening to everything he has to say. Since I started the video with Blue Lock, it's only fitting that I also put Bocchi here. He always goes off while hanging around the other characters within Blue Lock. Even while playing, he's weird and different compared to the others. He has outstanding dribbling ability, control of the ball, and is a great creator for others overall. Something that is fairly rare within the anime thus far. Up until his awakening in the second selection, Bocchi said he played alongside a beast, which obviously sounds odd. For the most part, I always like these weird characters within anime. They always add something to it, keeping you on your toes, never really knowing what their next move might be. The weird or crazy reason can also apply to how a character acts or looks. A great example of this is L from Death Note. Whether he's sitting in a chair weird, holding a cell phone in a weird way, constantly eating sweets, he's an odd character in almost everything he does. I think he's one of the few characters that nobody hates because it is so difficult to hate him. Let's continue with the design of the character influencing whether or not you like them. Sometimes people love a character just because of how they look. You can take this a couple of ways. For example, I always see online that people have a certain type. What I mean by that is they fall in love with a certain type of anime character's looks. For example, all their waifus are redheads. You also see girls loving male characters with white hair. The other way you can look at it is how a character is actually designed. I recently finished watching Overlord, and I think Albedo has an interesting character design. It also helps that she has assets fully on display. But seriously, looking at her, she looks cool. The art style of the anime makes you look at a character and say, I like them, sometimes before they even say a word. A slightly different take, but it still fits into this mold, is Saitama from One Punch Man. He really seems out of place in the universe, with most people not taking him seriously at the beginning, thinking they have an easy fight. You can also go the completely different and weirder route with Koro Sensei from Assassination Classroom. I mean, the dude's a crazy, fun, and weird looking octopus man. I've also seen people love certain characters purely because of the environment they are in, often done with ecchi or harem anime, meaning they're jealous of their situation. Best example obviously being Issei from High School DxD. People are jealous of Issei and like him because they wish they were in his position. I think this clip from High School DxD is a perfect reason why Issei is so relatable.
What do you need, Issei? I'll do anything in my power to assist you.
In that case, let me poke your titties.
Man, he's just like me, for real. Man, I hate that I said that. I'm sure at some point you've seen the question, if you could become the MC of any anime, who would you be and why? And one of the top answers is always Issei from High School DxD, because they are jealous of his harem. And since I am on the topic, I do think Issei is alright in my opinion. The final one I'm going to go over is character development. Seeing a character slowly change and become better because of it. Obviously, there's tons of characters to choose for this, but Jinta from Anohana, another top 10 anime for me, fits this role. Going from a shut-in who blames himself for Emma's death, to then helping get his friend group back together and re-attending school was a great watch. A more recent example, another anime that's in my top 10 is Shinpei from Summertime Render. It's yet another anime I did a full review on. If you're interested in just how he changed, go check that out. I could go on for hours and hours about what makes various anime characters great, but I just wanted to go over some of the reasons why and give a little personal story as well. Tell me some of your favorite characters in the comments down below and why you like them so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.